So here's the thing about Tahani Al-Jamil from The Good Place. On my first watch of the show, she was definitely one of my top characters. Not initially, of course, but she grew on me super quickly, and by the end of season 2, I was completely obsessed with her. The show is insanely character-focused, so expect another essay on the rest of these jabronis, but for now, let's talk about Tahani. I found it so cool how they could make this disgusting person actually really human and vulnerable, because I hated her so much when we first met her, and they made her kind enough that I actually enjoyed her presence all the time. In season 1, she starts out as a really distant figure, especially an enemy for Eleanor, but it doesn't take them long to actually dive deeper into who she is as a person. In Tahani Al-Jamil, aptly named episode, we learn a lot about her, mostly with Eleanor trying to find faults in her. It's a difficult task, and she doesn't really find anything overtly bad, but that's more of a commentary on how Tahani presents herself. Not just perfectly, effortlessly perfect, like a certain sister of hers. But we do finally, in the end, learn about her not-so-perfect life here with Jianyu, and it definitely works in beginning to humanize this British giraffe. I also enjoyed the storyline about finding out her neighborhood rankings. It gives us a really good opportunity to show us why she's so obsessed with status, and why she's always bragging. Her and her sister's childhood is so rough. They're competing from the start, and Tahani is so completely ignored even though she's such a talented child. That picture of a bird is amazing. She's also able to eventually build up her relationship with Eleanor and forgive her. A nice checkpoint for this is Most Improved Player, also a great episode for Eleanor, where she actually admits that Eleanor is making an effort to become better and is starting to become an actual friend to her. And then, later on, is even able to identify with her when they both have a crush on Chidi. Love that bonding session. From there, she's a real part of the team, helping Eleanor with her case and even advocating for her with a judge. Not the real judge. In season 2, they really start nailing the characters down and putting them in through situations specifically for their development. Tahani gets a lot of perspective this season. In the first reboot, she actually has a full-on breakdown in cargo pants. It's a real low for her that we've never actually seen before. Michael piled on more things than she could take, and it's fascinating to see her extremely composed character lose control for the first time. Learning about her death was also extremely important. Her tie to her sister shackled her entire life, and finally, she literally ties a rope to her sister and pulls her down, dragging herself down along with her. Ugh, so awfully sad. But that's why her development this season is so good. Through dating Jason, she's able to really let go of this false perception of herself as someone who needs to be effortlessly perfect, and become someone who's just, happy. You don't need to do your hobbies for others or with rigid rules, you can just have fun, and Jason is a great teacher for that. Another thing this season does very well with is have every member of the group bond with Michael. They all get very personal roasts in Leap to Faith, but all have to individually trust him so that they end up all really bonded together, which makes them all feel like a really congealed group. In the Burrito, the way she handles her test is very telling. She hasn't fully dealt with her relationship with her sister, and she hasn't fully removed herself from her parents, but this is still a huge moment for her character. Seeing them here allows her to get in one final conversation, knowing everything she knows now. And she gets to tell them off and show them how much she's changed. She technically failed the test, but she showed so much growth, and I love how Eleanor is the first she tells about how her test went. Their friendship grows so much, and Eleanor is so proud of her here. Season 3 obviously requires a restart, but again has some really textured stuff. Tahani's scenes specifically were some of my favorite from the entire season. Her journey to the Buddhist monastery is amazing, and she finds peace, but relapses. Not great, but a realistic depiction of improving yourself, and honestly, the life came and found her. She was doing so well in that monastery for a while. After the reveal that she's lived about 900 lives, her journey is actually incredible. Deciding to give up most of her money is beautiful, of course, but what's even more beautiful is that the donation is anonymous. That's the big thing about Tahani that she needed to strip. The status. Putting her name on everything and wanting to be bigger than Camilla. Doing good just for good. Fractured Inheritance is her best episode. It's what really made her possibly my favorite character in the entire show. The realization that Camilla felt exactly the same as her is awesome and so telling about their bond. The sibling bond that they should have had was painted over by their parents' expectations. And the painting that Camilla makes is so simple, but actually insanely symbolic. I love that they joked about how it was too stupid and simplistic to be actually art, but it is actually insanely poignant, because that says a lot about how Tahani sees her sister, too. All they really needed to patch things up was to understand each other, and I'm glad it helps both of them get into the good place eventually. Season 4 does some more great work with Tahani. I wouldn't say there's one episode that shines above the others, but her relationship with John really shows how far she's come and how far she still needs to go. John was obsessed with status but never had it. Tahani had status, but felt like it was never enough. Even though they were in such different social positions, they have the exact same dilemma, and it's so cool to watch Tahani figure that out alongside John and be able to grow and form a bond with him. And then John really grows. They form a really nice friendship over being ostracized and lonely because of their obsession with status, and it's a really nice period to the end of Tahani's arc. And because she's done the work and deserves it, her sister and parents are able to join her in the good place, improved and actually loving. They finally get to live the life of a real family, and it's actually a super touching ending to watch. Her becoming an architect is also wonderful, and I think speaks a lot about how she's changed. Architects get no notoriety. They don't even spend time in the neighborhoods they design, but they help others and find ways to make life wonderful, without a name. That's the best ending we could have hoped for her. Anyway, if you agree, let me know in the comments below and tell me what character you'd like me to make a video essay about next. And if you can, support us on Patreon. There you'll get early access to all of our videos, full-time reactions, and you'll get to choose whatever you want to see on the channel. So it's a really great way to support us and also to get some extra content for yourself. But I will see you guys for the next essay, and goodbye.